So very good morning to all. So in this lecture, lecture 7, right, we will look into different concepts related to the heap data structure and algorithms. We will also analyze the heap structures and derive its complexity. We will also design and develop algorithms for heap construction by heap insertion and also heap sorting using intelligent strategies. Okay, so let me begin the lecture. So this is continuation of the previous lecture, which was binary tree structures. So today we will be dealing with specifically the algorithms related to the heap. Okay, so heap structures. So I think you have already you had some introductory talk in your data structure classes. So I hope you have some idea about the heap structure. So let us try to recall them in few slides. So what is the demand in case of so the demand is to keep inserting the element into a list at the same time keep pointing to the largest or the smallest element. So our demand is that we want to have a structure such a way that we keep on inserting the element into that structure. Okay, we have to, but we should not lose the maximum element. We should ensure that the maximum or the minimum element is on the priority list, is on our priority. So you may also say that the queue is a very good for implementing. So queue is good for insertion, but locating the largest element concurrently can be little bit difficult, right? Cumbersome. So the requirement is to devise a sort of priority queue structure. So here it is the heap. So heap is the required structure, I can say. So now let us see the definition of heap. So a heap is a complete binary tree. A heap is a complete binary tree with the property that the value at each node is at least as large as the values as its children, if they exist. So overall, we can say that the parent, right? The value which is at the parent should have the value greater than its children, right? That is the key, right? And it should be applicable all through the means all the nodes inside the tree. So this implies that the largest is at the root of the heap if the elements are distinct. So if the logic is reversed, right? If I don't want largest, if I want smallest, then if the logic is reversed, we get the smallest value in the root. Okay, so this also is possible. So let us consider one example having 3 elements. So I have 80 as a parent, 60 and 40 as a children. So in this case, I'm asking you the question whether it is a heap. Right, it is a heap. Why? Because the parent value, right, 80 is greater than 60 as well as 80 is greater than its right child, which is 40. So if I take another example here, 60, right, the parent, the root node here, parent is having a 60 value and the left child is having 80. So which violates the definition of the heap, then this is not a heap. This is an example for not a heap. What about this one, right? Whether it is heap. So how to check this one? Let us try to start from the bottom, right? So here in this case, 40 is the parent and 32 is the 32 and 35 are the children. Yes. So 40 is greater than 32, 40 is greater than 35. Yes. So this is true. Now come to the left child. Okay, the left parent, I can say here. So left parent of this particular okay node here. So 50 is greater than 45, its left child. 50 is greater than 42, its right child. So these two are satisfied. So these two nodes satisfy the definition of heap. Now let us go upward. So now the parent of these 50 and 40 is 60. So here what happens, again I have to check the maximum element here. So the maximum element 60 is the parent node. 60 is greater than 50, 60 is greater than 40. So this is a perfect heap. So this is an example of a heap. So we have to devise algorithm, right? So what is the intention of this lecture? This lecture is that we should be able to analyze, right, and design and develop an algorithm for heap creation as well as the heap insertion and also the heap sorting algorithm. So let us see one by one. Insertion into a heap. So how insertion will be done in the heap? So one adds a new item at the bottom of the heap, right? So one adds the new item at the bottom of the heap. So let us consider a heap of 6 elements. So this is the this is already a constructed heap. Let us see that. Okay. So now we want to insert one more element, that is the element called as element value is 90, right? We want to insert. So where should we insert? We should insert at the last position, okay? Because this is a full binary tree, right? This is a full binary tree. So we have to insert at the last empty location here. So this will be here at this particular position. So now let us see what will happen. So in the step 1, the element is inserted at the bottommost location as the latest child. Okay, so the element is inserted at the bottommost location as the latest child. So now diagrammically, I will insert 90 here. So the 90 will be at the position number 7. So now again we have to check whether this is whether this is heap or not. Okay, so now the second step is, so the first step is blindly inserting the element which you want to insert at the last available position, right? Second step is check whether the insertion of the content in this child location creates a heap, right? So now we have to check the whether the like I have inserted in this element, right? I have inserted 90 as a right child of 70. So now let me compare the value of the child with the parent. So here I see that the child which I have inserted, right, the child the value that is 90 is greater than the root node, right, the parent value. So now this violates the definition of the heap. So max heap. So what can I do is that I have to swap these elements, right? I have to swap the element. And also I have to check whether this 70 is also greater than because it was greater than 50, so it was on the root node. So now I have to check with the child node which I have inserted, so that is 90. So now this swapping should take place. So now how to do algorithmically these things? So now we know that the latest position of the child, right, which we have inserted was at the last location. The last location was 7. So now how to find the parent of this last location? Don't see this diagram. Just see that how algorithmically we can derive the parent of the latest node. So simply you divide 7 by 2. That will give the position number 3, and position number 3 is the corresponding parent of this latest child. So parent of 90 is now, it is 70, right? This position number 3. So corresponding local heap structure is this one. I have taken a part of the heap. So actually the heap is bigger, which we have already seen. So I am only talking about the last position where the element was inserted. So now how to derive the parent? Now we know that the position, right? The parent is at the position number 3. So how to get his left child and how to get his right child? Child 1 and child 2. Child 1 is 2 into parent, right? Parent position 3 into 2 into 3, it is 6. Whereas the child 2 is child 1 plus child 2 position is child 1 plus 1. That is, so the children of this parent at the location 3 are at the 6th location and the 7th location. So now why this is required? This is required for me to compare the value of the parent with its children. So this does not make a heap, right? We know that this now we have derived the position of the parent as well as the children, right? We know. So now when we try to compare the values, we come to know that the parent has the value which is less than the child. So this is not an heap. So hence the content of the parent node, which is at the third position, right? At the third, parent node 3 should be swapped with the content of the latest child node, which is 7. So this should be swapped. So let us now swap it. So now we have moved. So now 70 is gone down and 90 has gone up. So now let us see the right. So this implies the new content is moved. Okay, it is moved to node 3. So now the new content which I added at the last location is moved to position number 3. So when the position number 3 is okay, so the position number 3 is now the newly identified child. So position number 3 is now here. So therefore in step 3, okay, it is now required to check whether the movement of the content into the node makes a heap, treating the node as a child node. So now the parent, because there was a change in the value of the root node in the previous case, so here that root node now becomes the child of the upper root node, right? Upper parent. So now here 90, which came from the bottom, right? So 90 now becomes the child. So now this is a disturbed child because the value has moved up here. And now again I have to check whether the value of this child is like greater than the parent node. If it is yes, then the swapping should take place again, and the highest value within the heap should occupy at the top position. So now the same procedure, the current node is now the current child node, disturbed child node is now 3, right, which we have already got from the previous in the bottom. From the bottom we have got 3. So now corresponding parent we will get when we divide by 2. So 3 by 2 is 1. And now what are his children now? Children of 3 are now, as I told, that child 1 is now at position 2 into 1 is 2, and child 2 is child 1, position of child 1 plus 1. So it is child 2 position is 3. So 2 and 3 are children and 1 is the parent. So now I have to compare. So here this does not result in a heap because the value in the position number 3, the child has value greater than the parent. So now the swapping should take place, right? So hence the content of the parent node, right? The content of the parent node at position number 1 should be swapped with the content of the newly identified child node at position number 3. So now the swapping should take place, and now this is how the swapping will take place. This is the original one, and now the child, right, 90 is moved up. The value here in the child position 3, it is now moved into the in the top position. So now this implies that the new content is moved to node 1. Hence newly identified child node, now it is 1, right? So now we have to come up, though we know that this is the root node, topmost node in the heap, but still we have to have mechanism to stop the algorithm. So hence now we will do in a recursive fashion, right? We'll identify the parent. So now hence newly identified child node is 1. So what is the parent? Let us see who is the parent of this child node 1. Therefore, it is now required to check whether the movement of the content in the node makes a heap, treating the node as a child node. So now again we have to check the child node is now 1, corresponding parent of this child node is 1 by 2, it is 0, right? So it is less than 1, and there is no child 1, and there is no child 1, and there is no child 2 in this case, because there is no upper node, right? So this is the final root node. So here, this is the terminating condition for your algorithm. Here, so now, so in this case, so this is an invalid, right? Child 1 and child 2 are invalid, and insertion process terminates. So when you get this condition, it means that your insertion process, you have started from the bottom of the heap and you have gone up to the root node. So insertion process terminates. So now here we started 90, right? So we wanted to insert 90 here. So we started at position number 7, right? And this was the disturbed child. So if it is a disturbed position, then we should ensure that this is a heap or not. So what we have did, we moved 90 above and we brought 70 down, right? This 80 was here on the top, 90 was here. So in the second step, what happened? This was a disturbed child. So the child position number 3 here, right? So so now we need to check whether this is a heap or not. So yes, when we check that, right, the child node, that is 90, was greater than 80, so we moved 90 above and we brought 80, right? This position, these values were swapped. So now if you see the definition of the heap, so this is a perfect heap now. So now, okay, the algorithm is to, right, so in general what we can say is that we start inserting the element at the latest location, right, at the last location, and then we ensure that the definition of heap is satisfied wherever there is a movement of wherever there is a swapping of values or swapping of the child. So this is applicable to all the elements, right? So this is we can say that at the nth location, right? So the latest location would be the latest location would be the nth item, right? So nth this is the nth item or the nth latest location, we can say. So in general, the algorithm, whatever I have shown you with the help of an diagram, can be now summarized as like this. So this is the algorithm now, algorithm for heap insertion. So what is that? Latest location. Let the latest location be n. So that is the last location. So now the element at the latest location, let the new item be stored at that particular position. And now the new child is now the latest location, because it is now the disturbed child. Disturbed child is now the new child and it is the latest location of that. Now we have to check, once we have inserted that, now we have to check the parent. What is the corresponding parent? Parent position is the new child divided position of the new child divided by the 2. So it will give the corresponding parent. So now if the corresponding parent is less than 1, right, then insertion is complete and terminated. When this would happen? This would happen when you have reached the top of the node, right? When you have reached at the top position, then this would happen, and the value becomes 0, and this is less than 1, it gets terminated. Or else what to do when it is not a root node? Then if A of the corresponding parent item, right, if A of corresponding parent item is less than the item, means the child which you have inserted, the element which you have inserted, new element which you have inserted has a value greater than the parent, then what should happen? Then swapping should happen. How swapping would happen? A of new child will be equated to, right, will become A of corresponding parent, and A of corresponding parent would become item, and new child would be the corresponding parent. So here now this has to go back, right? This has to go back, because again we have to calculate the child, right? Here once we got this new child, again we have to go above, right? So in the previous case, this back went 2 times, right? First time it went, and then again it went back, again it went back. So these things should be done here. Else, so if this is not true, then it is the best case for me. I'm very happy, and the item is settled. Item is settled, terminate. So what would happen is that automatically there is no movement. So you have inserted the element at the best position, and it is the best case for that one. Right now we would see some examples for the best case. So now suppose this was a heap heap node which are in the green color. It was already there. So now you inserted an element with the value 70, okay, at the position number at the new location, it is location number 7. But now we are very fortunate that the value, that is 70, is inserted at the last location, and that value is less than the parent node, right? Parent node value, that is 80. So now there is no movement required. Hence, this is the best case, because you are so lucky that you are inserted the value at the in the right position. So this is the example for best case. What is the complexity here? The complexity would be omega of 1, right? Because you have inserted the element in one go. So now let us take the second case where I insert the child, okay, the value 98. So when you see this 98, right, 98 is greater than the child node, which is 80. This parent node 98 is greater than 80, its parent value. So now the swapping should take place, right? So now 80 and 98 is swapped here. So 98 is now disturbed child. It should go up right here. Again I see that 98 is greater than again 90. So again swapping should take place between the child and the parent, and we can see that 98 has gone on the top of the tree, right? Top of the heap, I can say. So now what is this case? This is an example for the worst case. There are two levels, right? This is level 1, this is level 2. So at the level, the element was inserted at the level 2, right? But the shifting has taken 2 times, right? The shifting has taken 2 levels. So in the worst case, if the element is at the some level L, then the shifting would take place, okay, L almost log L times, right? You can tell. So L times it should move on, right? So this is an example of a worst case insertion. So now what about the average case? So let us take an element. So element here is 85. 85 is inserted, and then we know that 85 is greater than 80. So here swapping should take place, and now 85 goes up, 80 comes down, right? In this case 85 goes up here and 80 comes down. But on the other hand, you see that 85 in the next case, the 85 is less than this root node. So here is an example of an average case where it is between the best case and the worst case. So now the time complexity, the best case time complexity when the new element gets settled in the latest location, right? So when the new element gets settled in the latest location, this does not induce any swapping or any movement. So it is straightforward omega of 1. And in the worst case time complexity, the latest location will be the most exterior level. The latest location will be in the most exterior level, say L, right? So at the bottom of the tree. Then the element has to move in the worst case from level L to level L minus 1, level L minus 2, so on up to level 3 to level 1 and level 0. So it will start from the bottom, and it will go up the root of the tree, right? So it is level 0. So in this case, therefore the number of movements, right? Therefore the number of movements are proportional to the number of levels, right? So number of movements is proportional to the number of level. So now let us recall the time complexity analysis which we did in the previous lecture on binary structures, right? So on binary representation. So in this case, the L was proportional to log n plus 1 minus 1. We had already derived this. So L is the L is proportional to log n, and it is the worst case. It is in the worst case it was O of log n to the base 2. So where n is the total number of vertices in the full binary tree, and n indicates the position of the latest location. So it is n indicates the position of the latest location. Therefore, the number of movements here is proportional to log n, right? The L here in this case also the number of movements is proportional to L, which is log n to the base 2, and in the worst case it is O of log n. So now looking at the time complexity of this problem. So here what is the best case? The best case for heap insertion is omega of 1, and the worst case of inserting the element into the heap, right? It is at the right position. In the worst case, it is O of log n. So this is the graph which it is showing. This is omega of 1 and log n, right? The worst case, O of log n. So now the next question is how to profile for average computing time. So now how will we got the best case, we have the worst case, and how do we calculate the average computing time? So for that, what you do is that you create a heap of n-1 element and let the heap element be arranged, be in the range. Let the element be in the range A and B, right? You have some sort of convenience, right? A and B, it should be between A and B. And now let the new element to be inserted inside the heap be less than, right? Should be less than B. If the element is less than B, what would happen? Right? It is the best case, and the insertion will be in the omega of 1 time. So this then this gives the best computing time, and this is the T minimum. And let the new element to be inserted is greater than A. If it is greater than A, what it should happen? This is an example for an worst case, and it is very sure that element has to go on the top of the tree, right? And then this gives the worst case computing time, and this is the T max. And let the element be inserted. Let the element to be inserted. So this would give this would give the best case. This would give the worst case, and the average case would be that when the element to be inserted is in between the range A and B, right? You take the elements, different elements in the range A and B, and try to calculate the time, and that time will be less than, right? It would be greater than T max, and it would be greater than T max, and it is less than T minimum, right? So it is the so this is it is between max and min. That's what is the average meaning. And now repeat the process. Repeat the process of right, the process of randomly creating the new element m times. So what you do is that you have you generate m values, and correspondingly perform insertion process m times, and let the corresponding computing time measures be for all those average values, be T1, T2, Tm, and then you can calculate the average value by T average is equal to Tj, right? Sigma Tj divided by m. So this is just calculating the having the input between A and B, right, and running it m times, right, and then calculating the average. So that's very simple. So now how would you do that? So this is for one particular case where the number of heap elements are fixed here. But whereas you can also do experiments increasing the size of the heap. It is create a heap of n-1 element where n is larger than the previous value of n. So what is the time? Definitely time would be greater because the number of elements are more, and your time complexity is dependent upon the n value, right? The number of nodes. The movement also is dependent upon the log n. So you plot the graph for this one, you will get an interesting graph, and try to do analysis of that one. So now here you can draw. Now in this case, the best time complexity was T minimum. Here it is almost constant, and you can see that this is the worst case time complexity was T max, that is O of log n, and this log n is represented by this X representation, and T average is in between the best case and the worst case. Now you can see that if you draw a smooth curve to pass through the corresponding points. So find an expression. So you can see that if you plot, this would be a straight line, this would be a almost straight line, and this would be a logarithmic curve, whereas this one would be somewhat curve, like you will get it here if you join the points. Okay, if you join the point with a smooth curve, then you would get a nice graph here. So now we have looked so far the process of heap insertion, right? Heap insertion. So now what is the algorithm for heap creation? So heap creation is now done through heap insertion. So heap creation will be done by the heap insertion, So I have to start from the latest location. This we have seen it, right? This algorithm we have already seen it. So you start from the latest location, I is equals to 1 to n, and perform heap insertion. So this is an example. This is an algorithm for heap insertion, and that heap insertion should take place from 1 to n. And this is an example where the heap is created by heap insertion. So now let us take one interesting example, right? Let us take an example of constructing a heap, taking the elements, right? Taking around 7 elements here. So the elements are 40, 80, 35, 90, 45, 50, and 70. So what is the latest location now? So the latest location now is 1, right? So latest location now is 1. So simply what I do is that I create a node with 40 in its value, right? 40 as well. So now the counter gets incremented. The latest location would become 2. And what is the latest location now? 2, the element, what is the element to be inserted at 2 is 80, right? So I have to insert 88 as a left child, right? As a left child. So now once again I have to check whether the definition of heap is satisfied or not. Yes, so here it is not satisfied, so I have to swap it. So 80 goes up and 40 comes down, and now it is a heap. So what is the next location? The next latest location is location number 3. So where is the location number 3? Location number 3 would be the right child of the 80, right? The right child of the 80. I would insert 35 as a right child of 80, and now again I will check whether the definition of heap is satisfied or not. Right, in this case, it perfectly satisfies the definition of heap. 80 is greater than 35, the element which is inserted. So there is no swapping to be done here. So now, what is the next latest location? Latest location is now the position number 4. Where the position number 4 would be the left child of 40, right? So left child of 40. I have to insert now the 90 and as a fourth at the position number 4. So here again we have to see that the definition of a heap, according to the definition of a heap, this is not a heap. So and I have to swap 40 with 90. So again the swapping should take place. 40 and 90 are swapped. Again the definition says that, right, I have to check whether the heap is satisfied at the new child position, right? So here also it violates the definition of an heap. Again the swapping again has to take place. So now 80 and 90 are swapped here. So now here you see that 80 and 90 goes on the top, and now this is a perfect heap of 4 elements. So now the next latest location would be now the 5. So what is 5? The 5th position is now the element number 45, and 45 has to be inserted as a right child of 80, right? As a right child of 80. So let us see that. Latest location number 5. Latest location number 5, and I'm inserting the element 45 as in the 5th position. And let me check whether the property of heap is satisfied or not. Yes, here it is satisfied. So there is no swapping required because 45 is less than 80, and the right 80. So the heap is now perfect heap. So what is the latest location now? The next latest location is location number 6, and the element is 50. So 50 should be inserted as a left child of 35, right? Left child of 35. So I insert left child of 35, 50 at the 6th position, and now again I check whether it is heap or not. Right, it is not a heap because the root value is smaller than the child value here. So 50 and 35 should get swapped. This is how the swapping will take place. Right, again this was a disturbed child. 50 was a disturbed child. So now again I have to check whether its value is less than the root node or not. Yes, so the value is less than the root node, hence it is a heap now. So now we are left with last location, that is location number 7, and we have to insert the element called 60. Element 70 we have to insert. So now the latest location is now 7, and insertion is done as a right child of 50. So let me see whether it violates the definition of heap or not. Yes, it violates. So 50 and 70 should be swapped here, and 50 and 70 should be swapped here, right? So 50, I am swapping 50 and 70, and 70 is now the disturbed child here. So this should be checked again with this parent. So now yes, 70 is less than the 90. So this is a perfect heap. So you need not do anything. So now we are right. So that's how we completed the insertion of the creation of a heap, right, by insertion. What did we do? Right, we started from the first element, and then we started inserting one by one in order, and then we also checked whether it is a heap or not in every intermediate stage. And wherever there is a swapping happened, we need to ensure that the disturbed child, right, whenever there is a swapping and the child moves in the when the child becomes the parent there, so there again I have to check at the root level, and I should ensure that this repeats for up to the level 0, right, up to the root node. So the complexity analysis in this particular case is as and when a new element is inserted, in the best case it gets settled in the latest location. So this would happen when the elements are already in the sorted order, right? The element is already in the sorted order, right? Sorted order in the decreasing order. Then that would be the best case for this particular heap this particular algorithm, right? So here the n elements here. So as and when a new element is inserted, it gets settled in the latest child location, and n elements are inserted in this particular case. So the complexity is n here because there are n elements to be inserted. So this is omega of n algorithm. What about the worst case? So let the level number, so in the worst case, what would happen? Let the level number be j, where the insertions are currently being made. So now that is the last location. This is the current location where the elements are being inserted. Okay, let the level be j. So there are 2 power j locations where the elements are inserted. Okay, so there are 2 power j locations where the elements are inserted. So let us assume in each case the inserted element moves up to the root, that is level 0. So every element you insert, right, every element you insert goes from the bottom, that is bottom, to the level 0. So there is a movement of every element you add. So now what is the total number of insertion? Therefore the time to insert each element is proportional to j, and the time for all element inserted in jth level, right, to insert all the j elements is j into 2 power j. So this would be the right, this would be the complexity, right? This time is proportional to the location, and the 2 times the location into 2 power j. Now let us assume that n elements make a heap. N elements make a heap of L levels, right? So let us assume that n elements make a heap of L levels. Then the worst case would be proportional to sigma j times 2 power j. So where j is from 0 to L. So now here, so in the worst case, what it would be that every element would move from the from its location L to the top of the to the 0th location. So T worst is proportional to 0 into 2 power 0 plus 1 into 2 power 1 plus 2 into 2 power 2, so on, L into 2 power L. And we know that we have the identities, right? The well-established identities sigma I into 2 power I for I equal to 1 to n. If we so the notation is simplified as n minus 1. So wherever there is sigma I into 2 to the power I, so you can simply write n minus 1 into 2 power n plus 1 plus 2. So this is the general representation of I into 2 power I. So another identity, yeah. So this is one way of right. You can simply substitute this one and get the time complexity. Another way of getting the time complexity, right? We know that L is proportional to log n. Therefore, T worst, right? T worst is proportional to L into 2 power L. So wherever there is L, you substitute log n, and you can see that this is log n into 2 to the power log n. to the base 2. So now by another identity, right, 2 power log n to the base 2 is as good as n. So this would get simplified into simplified as n into log n to the base 2, and in the worst case it is O of log n to the base 2. So the time complexity analysis of this particular algorithm varies from omega n to O of n log n to the base 2. So here is saying that T average is nearer to n or n log n. So that should be verified, right, through the experiment. So now, so you can do the average case analysis, right? I have already told, right, you how to calculate the average case analysis for the heap creation. Okay, heap creation is set the value for n, generate n random numbers between a and b, create a heap and note the time t1, repeat the step 2 and 3 with different sets of n random numbers between a, b, and compute t average, right? You calculate the average value, repeat the above procedure for increasing values of n, and draw the profile graph. So this is how you will get the average time complexity. And now some important identities before we go into the calculation of the time complexity, right? This already we explained. Sigma I into 2 power I for I varying from 1 to n is n minus 1 into 2 power n plus 1 plus 2, right? So this is how. So if you simply take 1 into 2 power n is equal to 2, and if you substitute n equal to 1 here, you would get the same, right? Left hand side is equal to the right hand side here. So now same way, if you have 1 into 2 power n, 2 power 1 plus 2 into 2 power 2, so this becomes 10, and also n minus 1 into 2 power n plus 1 plus 2, when you substitute, this becomes 10. So left hand side is equal to the right hand side. So another identity is sigma 2 power I for I varying from 1 to n. 2 is as good as 2 power n plus 1 minus 2. See why we are looking at these identities, because this would help me in solving the complexity, right? Complexity analysis, the complexity equation of the heap insertion, right? So that we will see now. We will use these identities and substitute the values whatever we have got, and we will solve the problem. So another identity, another thing is that 2 power log n to the base 2 is n, which we have already used in the previous slide. So here the hint is that you take log on both sides to the base 2, then you would get only n there. And so now, yeah, so the algorithm starts now. Heap creation by heap shake or heap adjust. So here the problem is to create a heap by heap shake. So heap shake or heap adjust. The number of elements that make a heap should be known beforehand in this case. And what is the step 1? Step 1 is to create a complete binary tree. Create a complete binary tree. So consider an instance 100, 119, 118, 171, 112, 151, 132. Let this is the element which we have to create a heap. So what we can do is that simply you keep on creating a complete binary tree with all those elements, right? Then certainly this is not a heap, right? Certainly this is not a heap. So what we have to do? So starting from the youngest parent node, start adjusting the heap. So given number of elements, right, in the array, right, we have seen you simply create a complete binary tree, and now you start from the youngest parent node and start adjusting the heap. What is the youngest parent node in this particular thing? The youngest parent node in this case, I'm not telling youngest child, here it is youngest parent node. Youngest parent node is 3, right? And its children are at location number 6 and location number 7. So 3 is the parent, location number 6 151, and location number 7 is 132. So now I should check whether I should see the definition of heap, whether it is satisfied or not. So then we see that this violates the definition of the heap. So what we can do is that we have to swap because the left child here in this case is position number 6 is 151 is greater than 118, right, the root node. Hence, swapping should take place at this position. So 151 moves up, right? 151 moves up here. And now you can see that the heap is in proper position. Now, so that was done for this particular case. So now what you have to do is that, right? So now in this case, we can see that the youngest parent was 3. So now in the next, so this is now heap. But whereas on the left side, still we have not gone on the left side, right? So the P gets decremented. So now the new, the latest parent would be P minus 1. That is P equal to P minus 1. Here P was 3. So now 3 minus 1 would be 2. So the parent now, new parent would be now position number 2. That is 119. Okay. And which is, so P minus 1 is now 2. And what is child 1? Child 1 location is 4. Child 2 location is 5. So now again, at this particular position, now I should check whether it is a heap or not. So now I come to know that 171, the child value is greater than the parent. So the swapping should take place here. So now you can see that it has been already swapped here, and 171 goes up, 119 comes down. So now, yes, so now P equal to, again I have to check P equal to P minus 1. Again, now the parent, now parent P minus 1, when you do, so the parent is now the first location. So in the first location, the children are 2 and 3. So here, again, I have to check the definition of a heap here. And I see that 171, right, here, yeah, if you see here, the child, the left child, that is 171 is greater than 100. So here swapping should take place. So that is why you see that here the 171 and 100 value, they are swapped, and 171 is the root node. Now here there is a interesting problem. Now, since there is a change in, right, since there is a change in means the child node value, right? There is a swapping of the child, because 171 and 100, they are exchanged. So now once this is done, there is a this becomes the position number 2 becomes the disturbed child, right? So now again, so once this is a disturbed child, we should ensure that once again we should check whether that is satisfying heap or means the definition of a heap or not. So now here what happens, the disturbed node is 2, because the swapping has taken place, and we are not sure that, because maybe maybe the value which is there in that node is not satisfying, it not obeying the definition of a heap. So hence the heap with node 2 as a new parent should get stabilized. So we should stabilize. This is the new parent. Now it should get stabilized. So how do we stabilize? So new parent, because of the disturbance of 2, right? So now I have to check whether it is a heap or not. When we see this, right, what are his child? So child 1 is 4 and child 2 is at location number 5. So now when we see that, yes, there is a the child value is greater than the parent value, so now swapping will take place. So now you can see here 100 is swapped with the 119. So 119 moves up here. Again now, so now this is for the okay. If there were some more elements below 100, right? If there were some more elements below 100, this would definitely, right? This would become the disturbed node position would have been 4, and hence the heap with node 4 as a new parent should get stabilized. So, right? It should get stabilized. But fortunately, we are not having any children below 100. So our algorithm, what it says is that new parent because of the disturbance is 4. And in this case, child 1 and child 1 position is 8, which is generated through our algorithm, and child 2 position is 9. But child 8 and child 9 does not exist here. But if they existed, then again we have to ensure that the definition of heap is so in this binary node tree node 4, node 4 cannot play the role of a parent node. Hence, the movement downward gets completed. So now settlement is complete. Okay. So now we should go to the earlier step of going to next higher parent using p equal to -1. See what has happened. We were here, right? We were here. So here we did swapping here. We did swapping here. We also did swapping here. So we were at this particular position on the top position, right? The p was 1, right? When this disturbance happened at position number 2 and position number 4, this one we were at p equal to 1. So now p equal to 1 was p. Recall that all this downward movement started when p was 1. So what would happen? P minus 1 I have to do, and p minus 1 becomes 0. Then this implies that the adjusting procedure has covered all possible parent nodes, right? So when you reach p equal to 0, that means that you have done adjusting, means you have already done the adjusting procedure for all the possible parent nodes. Hence the heap is formed, and the heap is shown here like this, right? So 171 occupies the top position, whereas you can see that other elements are in their respective proper heap location. So now let us devise the algorithm. So the algorithm in general, what I can say is that the youngest child or the latest child is at the position number n, and the latest and the corresponding youngest parent. So youngest child is at the last position, that is nth position, and its corresponding youngest parent would be PA. Let us represent the youngest parent PA is equal to n divided by 2. So n divided by 2, and the child 1 will be 2 times the this PA value, and the left child position plus 1 would give the right child. So that's how, right? That's how. And now during the hand simulation in the previous slides, we have seen that we need 2 control pointers, namely one is the parent counter, right? One is the parent counter. So let p indicate the small p indicate the parent counter, and this parent counter let it be the PA, which I already seen that it is the latest parent, right? It is the youngest parent. And now subsequently we have to start doing p equal to p minus 1 till all parents are exhausted. That's what we did, right, in our hand simulation. So we started p equal to 3. We did p equal to p minus 1. We went to the second location, and then again we did p equal to p minus 1. We went on the top, and then again on the top we did p equal to p minus 1. Then we got the 0 value, p was 0, and that ensured that we have covered almost all parents. So the disturbed new parent counter. So this is another counter called as capital P. Capital P indicates the disturbed new parent, right? So disturbed new parent means whenever there is a swapping, when you are going upwards, whenever there is a swapping of this one, you should ensure that the disturbed new parent indicates P. And in this case, to begin with, p equal to PA at the starting point, the disturbed node capital P would be the P, right? Whatever the whatever the parent counter would be there, it would be the same. And once any changes is done, that time it would get changed here. So now if there is a movement, the new child node into which P's content moves is assigned to P. So now by default it will capital P would be P, but in case if there is any movement like that happened with the parent node on the left child, like in our previous example in the hand simulation we saw that, right? So this would get assigned as a new capital P. So now the algorithm for the heap adjust is like this. Okay, so now initially what would happen is that a small p, small p is the capital, this one is the youngest parent, right? I am initializing to the youngest parent, and then you have two back, that is back 2 and back 1. So back 2 is here the what we call is that, right, this would this is the, in this case, right, in the previous one we have capital P represents the disturbed new parent counter. So disturbed new parent counter is set to P, small p, and then if the capital P is greater than, right, if the capital P is greater than the youngest parent, right, then P equal to P minus 1. If P is less than 1, then heap completes, else go back. So this would be the this is the terminating condition. Else what would happen? You fetch the child 1 position and child 2 position, and then what you do, you compare the child 1 and child you compare the position of the child 1 and child 2. Okay, if this is there, then what would happen is that see here it is, you have to check whether greater of the two children. Okay, because the greater of the two children should be swapped with the parent. That is the idea here. If the parent value is greater than, so now if this would become, right, X would become the A of child 1 and L would become the child 1, the location would become the child 1, and then this else this would become A of child 2 will be X, else the child 2 will be the capital L, right? So L is the location. And now if X is greater than A of P, right, if X is greater than A of P, then what would happen is that A of L is initialized to A of P, and A of P will become the X. I think P will be L, and it will and we need to go back. So I think you can whatever I have explained, you can correlate those concepts with these terminologies, and you can at your leisure time, you please go through this algorithm very carefully, and it is very interesting. The concept I have already explained in the previous slides. So you need to just sit and understand the terminologies in this, and it will be very okay. So this is an algorithm for heap adjust. So now in this, right, now you have seen one very important thing is that, see, I have not written algorithm first. What I have done is that I have started from very scratch and started explaining you the algorithm. Okay, so I started you explaining that, and once the algorithm was conceived in my mind, then I started writing the algorithm. So this is how it should come. Your algorithm should be the last product of your assignment, right? Your algorithm should be the last product of your assignment or your thinking, what I can say. So now let us see the analysis. So at the 0th level, you have the root node, and at the ith level, you have the means 2 power I elements, and at the nth level, you have the 2 power L elements. So suppose the disturbance takes place. Suppose the disturbance takes place at the ith level. Okay, the disturbance takes place at the ith level. Then what would happen is that the movement of this the movement should take place from L minus I, right? So L minus I movement should be there. So it depends upon the, so here, right, the L minus I movement should take place, right? It should, because it should ensure that heap is proper till the bottom, right? So that is what is the intention here, that we should understand. And now let the total number of nodes in the ith level means be 2i. The total number of nodes in the ith level is 2i. The maximum movement for each element is L minus I, right? So if the element is at the position number I, and the maximum movement it can go out is L minus I. The bottom is the L minus I. So therefore, the total number of worst case movements, therefore the total number of worst case movements is L minus I into 2 power I, right? L minus I into 2 power I. So this is true for all the parents at I equal to L minus 1, L minus 2, okay, 2, 2 and 0. So this is for all the parents. So now I can multiply this one, right? Yeah, you can multiply this one, L minus I into 2 power L minus. So this definition, now here you can see that this would be the T is proportional to this one, where I varies from L minus 1, L minus 2, or so on, and the expression would follow like this, right? So now let me simplify, let me write in reverse order. So T is proportional to L times 2 power 0 plus L minus 1 into 2 power L plus so on, right? This, okay, up to L minus 1, okay, into 2 power L minus 1. So this is what I get it. And now right, so now we have simplified this one. Now you can, if you can group this, right? So if you group this properly, then you will get L plus L into 2 power L plus L into 2 power 2 up to L into 2 power L minus 2 minus L into 2 power 1 plus 2 into 2 power 2, so on. You will get it 2 power L minus 2. And so this is why we require this one, because already we have seen the identities, right, which would help us in solving this particular relation. So now here what I do is that what I have done is that I have further simplified. So here L I have taken as common here, then 2 power 0 plus 2 power 1 plus 2 power 2. This I can substitute the identity, right? So we know the identities like I into sigma I into 2 power I is as good as 9n minus 1 into 2 power n plus 2 and sigma 2 power I is 2 power n plus 1 minus 2. So if you substitute this one in this particular equation, then you would get the proper answer. So now what I have done is that I have substituted these identities here at this particular location, and then we simplify this equation. You will see some cancellations here, 2 power L minus 1, and then you simply keep on adding, right? Do the simplification, and then you will see that the T is proportional to 2 power L plus 1, right? So T is the time, the moment is proportional, the moment is proportional to 2 power L plus 1, and T is proportional to, so what is L? L is log n to the base 2. So T is here, if you substitute here, so T is proportional to n, and this is omega. So the moment is proportional to the O of n, right? So it is O of n, right? So this is the complexity analysis with respect to the heap movement. And now let us see the another application of this heap, which is a heap sort. I think heap sort you have already studied in your data structure class, but we'll see some ideas with respect to the heap. So now with the background, we know that the largest element exists in the heap apex. So when you have a max heap, what would happen is that the maximum element will be at the top of the heap, that is heap apex. So it is analogous to telling that the largest of a set of n element is bubbled up to the heap apex. That is what is the idea. So if the largest is removed, if you remove the largest element, then heap is remade with remaining n minus 1 element. Then the largest of n minus 1 element bubbles up as a heap apex. So what you do is that you have a heap, you remove the top element, and then you are left with the n minus 1 elements. Again you do again you make a heap, again you will get the maximum of n minus 1 elements, right? So all these things you keep on doing, and now you have some structure to store these elements, and then you make a heap. So now hence this skeleton algorithm can be as follows to sort a set of n elements, and this is the heap sort. So in the step 1, what you do is that you make a heap of n elements, swap the contents of the first node, right? Swap the contents of the, so how to delete an element in a heap? Deleting an element or removing an element is not very easy. You cannot simply plug the element on the top. So what you have to do is that you have to swap the content of the first node, root node, with the content of the last node, right? The youngest child. You swap the elements and then cut the last node, right? So you have to cut you cannot cut the head, right? Head or root of the tree. So you cut the last node and redefine last equal to last minus 1, right? So when you do last equal to last minus 1, you are deleting the last node and remake the heap of last number of elements. So you reheapify it, right? So you have to, so it is heap shake. What you do is that you remove this one, cut it, and again shake the heap. So if you again shake the heap means heapify, again the top element should go on the top of the heap. So here now repeat the step 2 to 5 till last element means the last becomes 0. So that is how the algorithm would work. So now let us see one example of a heap sort considering 7 elements. So this is the 7 elements which we have taken here, right? This is the heap. So now what is the first step? The first step is to trace the last location. So last location in this case is 7. So what is the largest element? The largest element in this case is the first element. So first element is the largest, 171 is the heap apex, and swap the contents of the last and the apex. So what you do is that you have swapped now 171 becomes 171 comes down and 132 is swapped, it becomes the root now. So now what you do is that you detach, you detached okay, you detach okay, so what you do is that now 171, now you can detach it now, and now what happens is that now the last becomes last minus 1, and the position gets so now what I have done is that I have detached 171 and cut it, so that is stored as a separate in a separate array, and the last location becomes last minus 1, and the last element is now at the 6th position. So now again here again what I have to do is that again I have to reheapify. So reconstruct the heap, because the heap structure is disturbed because of deleting the maximum element. So reconstruct the heap of 6 elements again. So when you do it, so while reheapifying, the maximum number of movements can take place if the content of the apex flows down to the pendant level. So this is what is the maximum, right? Maximum if 132 goes at the bottom, then that is the worst case movement, we can say. So note here the disturbed node is the apex root, and hence the T worst is proportional to the maximum movement, the movement up to Lth level from the 0th level. Okay, the worst case movement would be that. And now therefore here the T worst case is proportional to L, and this is the movement of, so the movement would take place log n time, right? So what is the worst case movement? The worst case movement would be log n here. So hence heap of 6 elements made, right? We have already made it, and then what we have done, we have to detach, right? So 151 has gone up, right? So now it becomes the heap apex. So repeat, swap last and first, cut the last, redefine last equal to last minus 1, and reheapify. So now 151 is swapped with 118. 151 is swapped with 118, and then 151 will be detached. So that's how you can see here the algorithm. I am detaching 151 in this particular case, and then right. So then here now we are left with the 5 elements. So 151 and 171 we have already detached here. You can see this green color here. So again we have to reconstruct the heap. Okay, again we have to reconstruct the heap. So here when we reconstruct the heap, 132, which is the largest here, it will move up, it becomes the proper heap now. Again 132 should be swapped with 112, right? It should be swapped with 112. Here 132 comes down, 112 goes up, and now I detach 132. You can see that 132 is detached now, and the 112 becomes the root. Now again I have to reheapify, right? Reheapify the 4 elements. So the this is the present situation, and the reheapified version is this one. 119 is the maximum element, which goes at the top here, and now here this maximum element should be swapped with the last last element in this case, which is 100, and again swapping will take place. And this 119 is detached, and we are left up with only 3 elements here. So the last position is 3 here in this case, and now again we have to reheapify it. So reheapifying will give us, right? Reheapifying will give us right, 1118 is the maximum, so it will go up here. 1118 will go up here, and then this the swapping will take place here with the 100. So swapping will take place with the 100 here. 100 goes up, and 118 is plucked, and it is stored in the array, right? Sorted array. And now we are left up with only 100 and 112. So in this case, the final what would happen is that the procedure would again make a heap. So 1112 goes up, and 1112 is easily plucked. 1112 should be swapped with 100. So then we are left with the right, 112 is plucked, and we are left with only the 1 element, and that is now. So same procedure is repeated, because we are 1 element, that itself is the maximum. So hence we pluck it and then So this is what is the heap sort, okay, implementation. So that T is proportional to log n for one swapping of the root and the last, okay. So T is proportional to log n for one swapping of root and the last. And what is the T proportional to n log n for n swapping of root and the last. So this is for one element and this is for the n element. So the time complexity of heap sort, right? Heap sort is n log n. That's what for n elements, right? So heap sort is now O of n log n, okay, to the base 2 algorithm. So we'll see some more algorithms, some more related concepts in the next lecture. Thank you.